Hello, welcome to Around the NBA. We got the squad here. We're all back. The gang is here. The Ultimate Sports Show is here. We are live. We are talking basketball. We are talking some NBA struggles, and we are talking about some games that are going on tonight. Guys, it is good to see you, Manny, Medina.
Woo!
What's
Guys, how
up?
how
What's
are you guys
up?
doing? How's it going, Manny? How's it going, Medina?
Everything's
Great.
going great.
It's great to
Glad
be
we're all
back on
back,
the
three of us, and
show.
happy to do this thing.
One
Oh
big happy
yes,
family.
one big happy family.
Always.
So we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, the struggles we're gonna point out as well. We're gonna focus on one team, particular team today, um, who I kind of feel like needs it. And a little bit of love there, of
Yeah.
just criticism. And I mean that's what we do. We're gonna be honest here, but we do have to talk about the Lakers as well. We got to talk about what's been going on with their franchise this season. How the expectations of what the team was supposed to be on paper so far has turned into a nightmare of um, injuries, COVID protocols, inconsistent defense, inconsistent offense, players in and out of the lineup. I think the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken, have the most different lineups so far in the whole league out of every team. So,
They do.
Manny, I mean, where do we start with this? Obviously, starts with the coach as well. It starts with the team. Starts with the captains. I meant LeBron and Anthony Davis. They've missed a lot of time already. And we're also going to mention as well. Where do we go? Where does the Lakers? Where do they end up going after the All Star break? What's the motivation? And potentially the buyout market, because that's coming up as well. So, Manny, your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad you brought up the buyout market because
Yeah.
I don't know if that can save us. Maybe it could because from what I'm hearing, Goran Dragic got released by the Spurs. We all knew he wasn't going to stay there because he doesn't fit their timeline. They're a rebuilding team. And we're trying to contend. I mean, if you see our record, you would think, no, the Lakers are not contending, but we're actually trying to because we do have a big three. But
Yeah.
obviously, the Westbrook experiment, and if you guys see me on Twitter, then when I slander Westbrook sometimes, I'm not slandering him because because I think he's a bad player. I just don't think he fits as a Laker. And you can see the way he plays, like he just doesn't fit. Like on the Wizards last year, he was getting triple doubles left and right, and he was playing aggressive. This year he's on the Lakers and he's missing open layups. He's getting like 5, 6 turnovers a night. He just doesn't seem like the good fit. Maybe Goran Dragic, if we sign him and we let Westbrook, come off the bench, maybe that can work. I don't know if it will. Personally, I don't know if it will, but we'll see if it does. And then also, some rim protecting could help as well because if you could, as you can see, DeAndre Jordan didn't work out. He's a big disappointment as well this year. So we can maybe look to sign maybe Tristan Thompson. That can work as well, in my opinion, to give us some elite rim protecting and play with a bit of assertiveness. Because there's nothing against LeBron, NAD, and Malik Monk because those three are playing out of their minds this year. If not for the Anthony Davis injuries, 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000%, he would have been in the All-Star game next week. Because ever since he came back from injury, he's been averaging like 29 and 8 on crazy, amazing efficiency. I knew Medina was going to be happy about that because
Oh, you
that's
know
that's
it.
her boy right there. And obviously, yes, we're all bummed out that Caruso didn't come back in the offseason, but on the bright side, we do have Austin Reeves, who's kind of, I'm not going to say a Walmart version of Caruso. He kind of has the same playing style as Caruso. You don't see it much on the stat sheet if you look at the stat sheet, but honestly, he plays with so much heart and so much assertiveness every single night. And then also the signing that we did with Stanley Johnson. He kind of helps our defensive woes, but also we're kind of still at the bottom of the league in defense as well. We're like, I think like 26th or 27th in defensive efficiency, which is downright horrible. But I'm glad that with what Frank Vogel did yesterday because He saw how bad we shot from the free throw line against the Warriors, because I feel like if we would have made our free throws at the end of the game, especially LeBron in those last seconds, because if he would have iced those three, we would have been playing overtime, and I think we would have won, because if you look at our overtime record, you guys, we're 6-1 in the season in overtime. We have the best record in basketball in overtime. So I can no doubt we would have won. And back to Frank Vogel, the reason why I'm happy with him is because he saw how bad we were doing from the free throw line, and he's like, nobody is leaving the UCLA Health Training Center, which is Laker practice facility, unless you guys make all of your free throws. Bit of a crazy thing to say, but I agree with Coach Frank, because we have not been good from the free throw line. I think we're shooting a career low as a franchise, like 67%. That is horrible. I guarantee you Kobe is literally like rolling in his grave looking at that, because we all know how great Kobe was, obviously as a player, but as a free throw shooter, Kobe was an 85% free throw shooter. So I'm pretty sure he's rolling in his grave like, what the hell is going on with this team? In my opinion.
I mean, there's a lot going on. Man, just to like recap the season so far. I know I haven't done the show in a while, so sorry if I'm a little rusty with some of my facts, but just going off from what I've been seeing, I mean, from the beginning, I feel like, the Lakers just looked so strong. I mean, acquiring Westbrook and Melo and Ariza, getting all these good players on our team that we're so excited to have. And like we were saying, oh man, 360, man, like LeBron, AD, Westbrook, they're gonna come like zooming out. Like we're gonna take over. We're gonna be the number one seed in the West. But a complete opposite happened. Like reality check for the Lakers. Like from preseason, I mean, all of us just thought that was just like, like practice for them to like get their chemistry going. But the way they're still playing sometimes, like it seems like they're still playing like they were playing in the preseason game, and it's kind of disappointing to see, because we all had high expectations from the Lakers this year, and we had high expectations, especially from Westbrook coming, and I was also excited to have him just because like he as a player, he's just like terrific putting up numbers, and he's really great on his own, but coming to the Lakers, he hasn't really been living up to that expectation. And like it's disappointing the fans, it's disappointing even himself, his teammates. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen with the whole Westbrook thing after this year is over, but I mean, he has stepped it up a couple of games where we did need him. And like to answer a question that Aaron asked before I started speaking, when he's asked Manny, who's the problem here? Is it the coach? Is it the team? Like I think to answer your question, Aaron, I think it's a little bit of everyone. I mean, we saw how we played without Vogel there when he had COVID. We were terrible. We saw how we played without AD. Everyone was bashing on AD for a while because he wasn't playing to his potential either. And then he got injured, and then we were without him. And then Westbrook was out one game. And it's just like we realized like how what each of these players contribute to this team, and the coach, especially the coach as well. So like if we're all not there together playing as a team and we don't have that chemistry build, like we're never gonna be that great of a team. We're not gonna be what everyone expected us to be, and that's a struggle right now. I feel like the only person I'm like Manny was saying earlier, I'm happy with some of the signs that we've had, like Stanley Johnson. He's been terrific. He's such a great kid. Terrific on defense, something the Lakers really desperately needed for sure. And Austin Reeves has been coming in clutch, and he's just like, I love the guy so much. Like I miss Caruso, but because Reeves has been on our team, like I don't really find myself missing Caruso that much either, as much as I love him. But Reeves is just so great, and like I'm happy with most of our players like Melo, and LeBron has even been stepping it up this season too. Nothing like when he shoots, like I don't know if you guys can tell, like his shooting has improved a lot, even though he messed up the game for us the other night when he missed his free throws. And AD had a little bit of a rough start, but coming back from his injury, like he's been playing like his old self again. Like that's AD baby right there. Like
Double AD.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see him like playing the way he used to. Like that's the AD like we want to see. We want to see him dominate. Now, if everyone else on the team can step it up and play to their potential as well, we're not going to have a problem anytime soon. I mean, we still have a chance of making it into the playoffs. It's not too late for that. Do I think we'll win a championship this year? I'm going to ask myself this question and ask you guys that question as well when you guys want to answer it later on. But I don't see, realistically speaking, I don't see us winning the championship this year with the team that we have, just because I feel like we still need a lot of building up to do. But I do see us making it into the playoffs and like learning from a lot of the mistakes that we've made in previous games. And I think we just got to get the ball rolling and really just step it up. Like we have the team, we have the team assembled. It's just we need the chemistry to come through, and we just need to start playing better together. And like we see that from LeBron and AD. We see that like when Melo's out. We see that when Avery Bradley's out, and like something else like like we just need that from Westbrook too. We need to see that in him as well, and just like step it up, do your thing, play better, Lakers, and we have a chance to make it a little bit further than where we're at right now. But if not, like it's okay. Well, we can try again next year, and hopefully LeBron doesn't retire by then.
Exactly. Shout out to Big Baby in here. What's good, baby? What's
poppin', Big Baby?
What's going on, man? Thanks for coming by. But Medina, you touched on some great points. Also, guys, let's not forget here, LeBron James, 29 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists per game, and he passed Kareem.
Can he pass Kareem? Yes.
Yep.
He passed Kareem.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, the man's having the thing that I'd say is the frustrating part is the man's having one hell of a season this year. And I mean, don't get me wrong, dealt with the knee injury, yes, is playing all, but there's I think there's facts behind that thing here, because LeBron's been playing a lot of center, he's been playing a lot of 5 lately, and a lot of what the Lakers have been doing is they've been playing a lot of small ball. So like if Anthony Davis is out of the game, typically, and you can compare this, guys. It's a good comparison. The Lakers were in the 2020 championship modes. Anytime Anthony Davis came out, Dwight Howard would come in, so on and so forth. A big presence was always felt in the game. So you never had your defense sacrificed. You never had the paint scoring sacrificed. I feel like this year, you think, the expectations are having Dwight Howard back, having DeAndre Jordan. Cool, there's your Twin Towers. You're having your big guys to defend the paint. You have coverage. You don't have to have Davis playing the 5, which is what everyone was always talking about. Says, look, it's less on his injuries, it's less on his knees. I get that, and I just I feel like the Lakers kind of said, okay, well, we're gonna get these guys, we're gonna get Jordan, we're gonna get Howard, but I'm sorry, if you're on the team, they got Vogel. I think this falls on Vogel. I think and I think I think part of it falls on Vogel, where you gotta even if your matchups are playing a little bit smaller. I feel like some of these games right there, the Lakers have literally, like, looking at their defense on some of the games that they've played, they've had very good opportunity chances to win the game, guard the paint, and they chose to go small. And their defense, and I think a lot of teams right now are saying this: if I'm an opposing coach and I'm gonna go and I have a guy that's almost maybe LeBron's height as my center, I'm gonna tell them, look, the Lakers play small. The Lakers don't use their big guys. Go attack the rim as soon as Davis comes out of the game. Literally, march yourself to the rim. You will dominate the paint. You will dominate the rim. You will get these guys in foul trouble because they're not going to stop you, because they're just going to let this go wide open. I feel like the Lakers need to involve their big guys more. Manny, what's your take on it? Medina, what do you guys think? I just feel like you got to see a bigger presence in this game. I think that's what's really going to lock down the Lakers defense right now. You can't let LeBron at his age play center, even though the guy can play everywhere. For his health, for his knees, I mean, you never know if that obviously had to do. I feel like that had to do a lot to do with why he was out for a little bit, because his knees are not used to playing down there and getting banged up even more.
Well, it's like you said, Aaron. It has to. Some of it has to do with coaching, but also because the team isn't playing like the way they should have played coming into the season. So LeBron feels so much pressure that like I'm gonna guess he probably goes to the coaching staff and says, just give me the ball and let me do most of the work, because half of the guys on our team are just not pulling their weight. And back to what you're saying about LeBron passing Kareem, he passed him for total points in the playoffs and regular season. He still has to pass him for only regular season because, mind you, he's still trailing Karl Malone, but he will do it.
Oh,
he's only like 400 points behind him, I think. And honestly, I agree with you. Rotations have been horrible. The start of the season was kind of annoying to see because we had DeAndre Jordan and Ken Bazemore starting. And as much as I'm a big supporter of Frank Vogel, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, even though most people on Twitter are like, fire him. Like, I'm just like, look, give the guy a chance. He did win us a championship. He did last year. If not for the injuries, we probably would have knocked off Phoenix. But I do think we should make our centers play more, because I do agree with you, small ball is not the way to go, especially tomorrow night that we're playing the Utah Jazz. Because if we're going against a gigantic Burj Khalifa in Rudy Gobert, we really have to play big, because we know he's going to eat us up alive in the paint. So I'm just hoping Vogel plays Dwight Howard, because we know he knows what he's doing, and he's very good at like rim protecting it. And also, another thing I got to say is Anthony Davis also should consider, I know he's not that much into playing the 5, but he should consider kind of playing the 5 a little bit, especially tomorrow night, because we all know how dominant on defense and dominant on the inside Gobert is. So Anthony Davis really has to play the 5 tomorrow. I'm hoping he does, but it all depends on Vogel, in my opinion.
I mean, if anyone can stop Gobert, it's definitely AD. But just to follow up with what Manny was saying, I feel like Vogel is doing an okay job this season. I'm not gonna sit here and say fire him either. I really feel like the guy's trying, because he did win us a championship, and we just had a unlucky season last year, and I don't really blame that on him. I don't blame any of our players, like our main guys at least, because injuries starting the season so quickly, like because of COVID reasons, and just it was a mess last year. But this year, like I am gonna point fingers at certain people and say, like, they should be doing better. They should be doing better. And Vogel has made some questionable moves this season, guys. I can understand why people are so frustrated with him. But at the same time, I'm trying to be patient and like wait it out to see what he's gonna try to figure out. I also think like maybe just having all these big guys on our team, it's not as simple and easy as they thought it would be. I don't know. There's a lot of big guys to listen to, especially like I know like it's probably not like it's tough for any guy. So like the fact that Vogel is still like dealing with it and handling it, like it's a lot for him too. I know that. But with that being said as well, do I see Vogel being our coach next season if we don't get into the playoffs? Probably not. I think he might get fired, just because there were rumors going around like about a month ago where they were saying that his job was kind of on the line. I'm not sure how true that was. It seemed pretty accurate, but I don't know. I don't really see him here that much longer if we don't get our wins going. But I'm not going to be part of that crowd and chant to fire him, because I do see him trying his best, and he just needs to get his rotations together, really. And they're like one of the questionable things that he's been doing, in my opinion. I'm like, why haven't we seen Dwight Howard play that much? I mean, he did so great for us in the bubble, especially when we needed him in the playoffs. And Dwight has that potential. He has that energy. And so the fact that like we don't really see him playing that much this season, it's kind of sad, because like we were so happy to pick him up again, and for a while like we haven't really been utilizing like his skills like out on the court, like when AD's not in. Like that's it's just a lot of things that we need to figure out as a team. Definitely a lot of mistakes to pick up from, and I hope to God like this team is still together next year. Maybe it's with a couple of trades, sure. But I do see us like learning from this season and like coming out stronger next year. I mean, I look how much faith I have in my team. I'm already talking about next season and our championship, but
There you go.
we're just
There you
like
go.
I just know that this season is all trial and error. We have to like basically learn from all of our mistakes at this point and see where to go from here, and have like better rotations set, and really think about like if we want to start Westbrook or have him come off the bench, do we really want him to close out on a game with the way he's been playing? Sure, he's a great player, but like, does he have that potential to still remain a Laker at the end of the day? These are questions the Lakers have to ask themselves. Like, if you really want a championship, you're gonna have to be willing to like sit there and make some sacrifices in order to get to that championship again. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Aaron?
Well, actually, I was just gonna touch. I was actually just getting ready to talk about Westbrook, and I was actually gonna ask you guys this too. Just as fans of as obviously we're all fans of the game here, but it's a serious question. I mean, we all have superstars you love watching. Um, what was your opinion about Frank Vogel benching Westbrook? What was your honest opinion? Because to me, I feel like if you're trying to get out, of a rhythm. I get it. There's things that are going on the court. Maybe it's in your mind too as well. Maybe you're dealing with other things. Obviously, personal matter goes a long way. It affects how you're playing on the court. It affects you in your everyday life. So it affects you in different ways. Maybe Westbrook's got other stuff that's been going on with him, or maybe he's just been off a rhythm. But still, I feel like that was wrong of Vogel to necessarily bench him. Bench him when he did, because he's in the end of the day, the dude is a veteran of the league. Like he's basically a Hall of Fame point guard that should be out there. And you need to have the trust in the player. The coach needs to have the trust in the players, as the players need to have the trust in the coach. And if one is only working one side and the other side's not working, there's a disconnect. And yeah, I feel like it was handled poorly. I feel like if you were going to give Westbrook maybe a little bit of extra rest, sure, give him a little bit of extra rest and get him out there fresh for the fourth quarter and let him go. But I feel like with Westbrook and the way he's been this year, I think that benching him is not the answer. I think benching him is just gonna want him to either request a trade, request to be released, whatever it may be. But you don't want to make enemies with someone that's literally been living their lifelong dream of playing in the team, playing with the team that he grew up cheering. So, what do you guys think? I mean, that's my opinion.
Honestly, Aaron, I totally see where you're coming from, because yes, it was wrong to bench Westbrook because he's making $44 million, and because we just went through so much trouble in the offseason getting him. We had to sacrifice another one of our young core players in Kyle Kuzma for him. But I'm pretty sure Vogel's also frustrated. I'm pretty sure he's like, this guy that we tried so hard to get, that we got. We could have got DeMar DeRozan. We could have got Lonzo Ball and some other these guys, but we got him, and he's not pulling his weight like he did last year in Washington. But I also see your point that it was wrong to bench him, because we know, even though he's been struggling, we know his capability this season and in his career. He's known for getting triple-doubles. He has the record for triple-doubles. And like you said, first ballot Hall of Famer. We know what he's done with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's pretty much like a god in Oklahoma City. And I guarantee you, when he retires, Oklahoma is going to retire his jersey up in the rafters. But honestly, in my opinion, like, he should just run the point guard position, because sometimes we see that there's other players on our team that try to run point guard. We just have to let him loose. We have to let him do the passes and the lobs and everything to LeBron and to AD, to Monk, to Stanley Johnson, to Avery Bradley, and so on and so forth. We just have to let him loose. The problem is we're not letting him loose. If we do that, I think it could get better for Russ. But I won't hold you to it. I think there's, like Medina said, there's a lot more going on with this team than just Russ.
Definitely. I think you both made some really great points. But to answer your question, Aaron, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. as great as a basketball player you might be, if you're sucking and you're costing us the game, I'm for Vogel benching anyone, whether that be Westbrook, LeBron, AD, even him. Like, you do what you got to do to win that game, especially with the way we've been playing, especially with the amount of losses that, that just keep piling up. Like, I know maybe I'm going to get a lot of people disagreeing with me, but that's just my opinion. I don't see any wrong in what Vogel did by benching Westbrook. If you have to do it, you have to do it. Sure, it might ruin his rhythm, but if there's no rhythm going on in the first place where he's contributing anything to the game to helping us win, by all means bench him and put someone else out there that can actually do better to get us that win. And that's really all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I give I get what you guys are saying too. Very valid points, and that's why I wanted to bring it up to you guys because I feel like a lot of people are just, there's so much hate of just him saying, don't let him play like Westbrook, the guy that can't shoot, the guy that can't do this, and it's like all these, and it's like in the same time, all these people are still saying like, oh, they shouldn't have gotten him, they shouldn't have done this, but it's like, it's like you have to ask everybody, do you not remember how many years and how many games that you can think of where Westbrook killed the Lakers?
Yeah.
Absolutely would just annihilate you in the paint. The smallest guy attacking the rim, the small, but even playing him last year, I believe he was in the game too when they played the Wizards, and Westbrook was doing Westbrook things. So,
Yep.
do I think personally, do I think Westbrook's going to get out of his slump? Do I think he's going to be a big contributor? And I'm going to call an early shot now. Do I think Westbrook will be clutch later on in the year for the Lakers? Yes.
I hope so.
I think he's going to make his mark. I think Westbrook's going to make his mark when you least expect it.
Oh no!
And I think that's going to put a little.
There's
I think
faithful Aaron.
There's faithful me. If it was faithful Marc Gasol, it's going to be faithful.
I know it went from Marc Gasol to Westbrook this season.
Exactly. So
you go.
it's gonna be high hopes, but to answer your guys' thoughts as well about the centers and everything. There's no reason why Dwight Howard shouldn't be playing more. I hope he plays more. Obviously, they are playing the Utah Jazz tomorrow, so it's going to be a very big style game. And obviously, the Jazz in their aspects, they're one of the best teams in the league right now. They're playing great as well. But you know what? With the Lakers, let's see where things go. Because in the end of the day, right now, it's the first half is coming to a close. I just don't want this year the most thing I could sum up right now about the Lakers. I don't want to see this season go to waste for LeBron.
Yeah.
That's who I really am watching this year because you don't know how many times you're going to see him on a court and or suit up with the Lakers. Whether he ends up deciding, you know what, I've had enough. Just you never know. I've had enough. My legs are getting up there on mileage, and I'm not going to make it to play with Bronny like he thought about doing. And the Lakers could say, LeBron could say, what was your best few years of the Lakers? Well, one of them was the championship year. The other one, we didn't do well in the playoffs and we lost, or we didn't make the playoffs because we didn't push ourselves harder. And I think that the Lakers need to go into this aspect of the rest of this season to say, who are we going to be this year? Are we going to be a team that cares and is going to go out there and compete and make sacrifices that we need to make? Because let's face it, the stars on this team will not all be on this team together next year.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be gone. It's just the nature of the business. It's the nature of the NBA, and that's how it works. That's how the super team works. Unfortunately,
NBA's a business.
It's a business. In the end of the day, it's a business, and it's going to be interesting because we'll see where the Lakers end up being. We'll see where they're getting to. But also, let's touch on. Let's give Medina a chance to touch on the James Harden, all the fiasco that went on, and her thoughts, because we didn't get a chance to get her thoughts on the trade and her thoughts
Oh
on the
man.
whole Ben Simmons thing. So we got to get that in there, and then we're gonna check out some of the scores that are just wrapping up. I believe almost all the games are done. The Clippers and the Suns are the last game of the night. But I mean, Medina, what was your thought right off the bat when you heard James Harden was going to get traded? And were you surprised? Were you surprised, like a lot of people, that the Lakers did not do anything and they were quiet?
I was not surprised about the Lakers not making any moves. I expected that to happen. I think anyone who thought the Lakers would do anything, I don't know. It's just unrealistic to me. Like this team has so much that they need to like fix and rebuild, and it's not gonna just happen with the trade or two. Like who are we
Mm-hmm.
gonna give up? LeBron and AD for who and who? Like there's no one in our team that we're gonna get rid of right now. So I never saw a trade in the Lakers happening, and I'm not bummed out about it either. I'm not disappointed. The James Harden trade, I will say, like, I think on Twitter I first read that he wanted to get out of Brooklyn, but he didn't want any backlash, so he was considering staying with them. But like as soon as I read that, I'm like, oh, that's a typical James Harden move. Like if you want it, you're gonna get out. You're gonna get what you want, and that is one of the reasons why I cannot stand him. And he can be the best player in the NBA. I still will not respect the guy because of how he just jumps around from team to team, in my opinion. If he's not happy, if he's not getting his needs fulfilled right away, like he just quits on them and he just moves on. And I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw the game earlier today with Philly and how they lost terribly against Boston, but the look on James Harden's face was like, "Oh my God, what did I get myself into coming to this
Yup.
team?" So it made me really happy to see him look like that, because it's like you messed up. You just left another team that you were supposed to be like the big three. You guys were supposed to be the super team that everyone was scared of. But you know what? He's out now. They don't need him anymore. I'm happy for Brooklyn. I actually like them a lot better now that Harden is out, in my opinion. I do like the whole like Simmons thing. I'm glad I think that's a better fit for him. Hopefully he steps it up there and actually plays like the way he used to play for the Sixers before he got tired as well. I'm not just I'm There's a lot of things that I can say, but I'm gonna choose to remain silent, trying to keep my opinions to myself. But I guess I can say overall the James Harden trade. I was a little shocked, but I'm not surprised that he made that move. It's a typical move made by him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he left the Sixers next year as well. It's just a lot, and it's just funny to me that also like I want to point out too, because I mean Drummond's on that team now too in Brooklyn. So I'm just like, he went from the Lakers to the Sixers to the Nets, and I actually see the Nets as a competition this year. I did not look at them like that last year. Like they were scary with their big three, but I just saw like a lot of defensive issues with them. I knew they were not going to win the championship last year, regardless of injuries or not. I just feel like their team didn't have that potential still, but I feel like they do now. I feel like they like found all the missing pieces to their team, and I'm happy for them. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm rooting for them, but if they did win, like I wouldn't be disappointed or surprised by that. But yeah, Harden, good luck in the Sixers. I don't know what you're gonna find there or accomplish, but good luck to you, man. You do you. At the end of the
Daryl
day.
Daryl Morey again strikes again. That was another column written by
Yup.
one of the New York Chronicles. Gotta love it. Gotta love the good a little chippiness between the teams. But thanks for sharing your input as well.
Of course.
No, it was a mixed emotion. It was a mixed. Manny and I were both pretty mixed about it. Just how
Yeah.
shocking it was, and obviously, in the end of the day, I was happy. I was happy that I even said too is I'm not mad that the Lakers didn't do anything, because you got to believe in your team, and
Yeah.
they gotta believe on who they there. Also, not to mention as well, because I didn't mention him as well. Maybe potentially Kendrick Nunn makes a difference for the Lakers as well, because he's yet to suit up for that team, except for the preseason. I mean, you never know. You add an extra piece, maybe it's an extra motivator as well. And you never know what could happen. But let's get into basketball here. We'll make it simple here. go through some of the scores as well. Any of these scores surprise you guys? Let's see. Memphis over New Orleans, 121 to 109. Charlotte over Minnesota, or Minnesota over Charlotte, 126 to 120. Milwaukee 128 to 119 over the Pacers. Boston annihilating the Sixers 135 to 87. Yikes.
Hey.
Ooh.
I'm not shocked about that.
I am not shocked about that at all.
I'm shocked that the Sixers not scoring 100 points.
Yeah.
Especially that Embiid has been like a defensive anchor and by the way, my MVP this year.
Somebody got wrecked in the defensive end.
Clearly.
107-99 Dallas over Miami. 124 to 116 Atlanta over Cleveland. Cleveland's been red hot. I give shout out to the Cavaliers lately. They've been playing some exceptional basketball. Then right now, we'll see who wins this game. We'll see who ends up winning this game. I don't know. I think Phoenix is going to hold out this game. Phoenix over the Clippers right now, 83-74. 10:30 to go left in the fourth quarter. That game's on the network on TNT. Make sure you tune it in and check it out. That is a great game as well. And guys, I am always as joined. It is so great to have you guys with us. And guess what? We get to do this tomorrow because we're back tomorrow. Around the NBA is back tomorrow. 8 o'clock, same time, same place. You know where to be. Medina, Manny, and myself. I'm Aaron, guys. It was great to have you guys, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Take care, guys.
Peace!
Bye.